Day 2 of Miami Dolphins minicamp has come to a conclusion with 1 day left on Thursday. Today's show, we will look at the news and takeaways from minicamp. And I'll tell you this, folks, you have to see what Mike McDaniel said because he absolutely fired me up. I think most people know, if you've been around the channel, my thoughts on McDaniel. I would have thought about moving on from him after this past season. I thought he just did not have control of the locker room. He is not a disciplinarian, and I think he needs to be better in that regard. Well, I think he has done the steps necessary this offseason to this point to be better in that aspect. And this quote just made me buy into Mike for this upcoming year. He said when asked about his football team, there are some non-negotiables. You know, the football program has to focus on football. For that to happen, there's a lot of things that can't dominate, people's times, which is like first and foremost, being on time, being accountable to each other, and staying to the rules and not. Or feeling very open as a team that, hey, it's okay to call someone out when they deserve to be called out. And for those people, too, it's okay to be called out as long as you change your effing behavior. That shit fired me up, man. I think we all know that the lackadaisical approach and kind of coaching style of Mike McDaniel as a leader of men simply has not been good enough. And it's why the Dolphins have kind of collapsed at the end of seasons, not been good enough in cold weather environments either. And I think we are finally starting to see an actual real culture shift for the Miami Dolphins, which is maybe the most important thing that we've seen this entire offseason. And for the fans at home that might be saying, we've heard them talk about it last year. Bradley Chubb knows that. He said this feels different. He said that I think last year they were kind of lying about the culture shift, but now this year we are seeing actions match words. And that is the biggest key here. And when Bradley Chubb is one of your biggest leaders, someone who took a pay cut this offseason to stay with the Dolphins because he was on the verge of being cut for cap reasons, but he took a pay cut to stay here. He's a leader. I'm starting to sip the Kool-Aid on a culture shift in Miami, and I'm very, very excited about it. Do you believe me? Don't lie. Are you with me? Do you think the culture is changing in Miami? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. It's today's pinned comment. I think it is. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. You let me know your thoughts. Let's shift over to some highlights from Dolphins minicamp day 2. Remember, the media is there for all 3 days, and they are providing updates on what is going down in terms of where players are playing, who is performing. And let's start off with a UDFA who we touched on this morning in a recap from day 1 of mandatory minicamp. Grayson Murphy, the UDFA out of UCLA, former Colorado State Ram, had a really excellent showing on day 1, and I stated that he is making a push for that 53-man roster spot as the 5th edge behind Chubb, Phillips, Chop, and Mohamed Kamara, potentially replacing Quinn Bell. Well, he showed out once again on day 2. He had an excellent day, making a couple plays in the run game, and he also forced some pressure, made quarterbacks dump it off to the backfield and the backs a little bit quicker than they wanted to. Grayson Murphy continues to put together strong performances in practice, which make him a player that is certainly on my radar as someone that can make this roster and will be someone I'm keying in on for those 3 Dolphins preseason games. Now, in a negative light on Murphy, the last thing that happened at minicamp's practice today was Grayson Murphy being injured. Now, it's not a significant injury. They said he went down just holding his side, but Grayson Murphy did get banged up today. Never want to see that. And practice ended after that. Disappointing to see for Grayson Murphy, but he has been really, really good through the first 2 days of Dolphins minicamp, which makes me excited to see more from the former UDFA. Also have to talk about Willie Gay Jr., a player that Miami signed in NFL free agency to a 1-year contract. They signed 3 linebackers. They re-signed Tyrel Dodson to a 2-year deal, then they signed KJ Brett and Willie Gay Jr. to 1-year contracts. And Gay Jr. had a really good day today. He had an interception and a sack, and that interception would have been a pick 6 as well. You might ask what quarterback threw the interception. It would be Zach Wilson. Now, Zach Wilson did have a better day as a whole, but once again, going back to our breakdown from day 1, Wilson has not had a good early showing at Dolphins OTAs or minicamp. But let's focus on the positives, which is this linebacker room. When you group in the edges, this is arguably the strongest point of the Dolphins defense, without a question. Brooks and Dodson project to be your two inside guys with your excellent trio at the edge spot of Chop, Jalen, and Bradley Chubb. But focusing on that middle linebacker group, Dodson and Brooks is a really good duo. Am I going to say it's top 5 in the NFL? Probably no, but top half, based off what I saw last year from Brooks and Dodson the final 3 years, I will say it's a top half linebacker duo on the interior. And if you factor in the entire depth chart, Brett and Willie Gay Jr., as good as you can ask for as your linebacker 3 or 4. So if Dodson or Brooks struggle or get banged up, I feel very, very confident in those two stepping up, especially with what I've heard and seen through the first couple weeks of offseason programs in Miami. For the latest around the Miami Dolphins, make sure you subscribe. We put out daily videos, sometimes twice a day. We go live once a week, and we also will go live when Jalen Ramsey gets traded. So join the channel, hit that sub button, and make sure you don't miss a piece of our Dolphins coverage. Encompassing the whole day here on Wednesday, clearly a better day for the defense. There were more raving reviews from defensive plays made than offensive plays from beat reporters out there. One of those players being Dante Trader Jr., the 5th-round pick out of Maryland. Second straight day of making plays. Like Grayson Murphy, had a really good day on Tuesday, bounced back with an even better day on day 2. He had a sack. He had an interception. He made a lot of plays. Excuse me, he actually did not have an interception. I was mixing up with Iafatu Melifonwu. Melifonwu had an interception on a miscommunication from Nick Westbrook-Ikini and Tua Tagovailoa on a deep ball. The turnover that almost was caused was Trader Jr. He dropped it over the middle of the field, got his hands on it, went through, tipped up, and Taj Washington ended up catching it. That's what happened. Sorry for the confusion there. But it comes to a larger conversation about the safety room, because Mike McDaniel was asked about it today at his presser, and he said that it's the most competitive room that we have right now. And I don't think that is just coach speak. I mean, who knows who's going to be the starters? I would project it to be Ashtyn Davis and Melifonwu. But if the 5th-round pick Trader Jr. shows out, he could start. Elijah Campbell has a lot of experience on this roster. He could start. And then if Patrick McMorris balls out as well. I'm very curious to see how many safeties the Dolphins keep. I think they could go with 4. I think they could go with 5. It seems like it would probably be smarter to go with 5 because you have 5 capable NFL safeties in McMorris, Melifonwu, Davis, Trader Jr., and Campbell. But that is a position battle that remains to be seen, and it's going to be very exciting to see it come even more full circle in August. Final notes here in a second, but get your Dolphins hoodie on sale right now, $40 off at chatsports.com/Dolphins hoodie. I love this hoodie. I continue to show it every day because it's just awesome. One more time, chatsports.com/Dolphins hoodie, $40 off. Size is running out. Links in the description and comments of today's video. All right, are we getting more insight on where Jonah Savaiinaea is going to play? This has been a hot topic and a question that I have been wanting to be answered for some time now, and I feel like we are starting to get a little bit of an answer. Savaiinaea, the 2nd-round pick, played left guard today next to Patrick Paul during 7-on-7 work and 11-on-11 work on minicamp. This is what Travis Wingfield said on the offensive line, saying that the O-line kind of got what they wanted early at practice. Achane had a big run off the right side, and then Jalen Wright might have had a long touchdown in live football because he got a good lane from Paul and Savaiinaea. He also noted that Jonah was excellent today, hit a wicked cut back to find that lane. And that's very interesting that he's going to be playing left guard here early in minicamp. I'm a little surprised by it. Why? Well, you go back to what Jonah did at college. His 3 years, right tackle and left tackle split, right guard, and fully right tackle. So he never played left guard at the college level. Now, is he capable? Yes, he could play all 4 spots on the O-line, not named center. But I have often projected Savaiinaea to be your right guard and the veteran James Daniels be your left guard. And maybe that is still the plan with Daniels not participating in team activities. James Daniels, by the way, once again did more individual work and spoke to media after practice today. But maybe this is because he's not there. I just think it's smarter to put Jonah, a rookie, next to two experienced players in Jackson and Brewer, and then put an experienced guard in Daniels next to a first-time full-year starter in Patrick Paul. This is what I would project. This is what I would want to do, but we will continuously have you updated on where Savaiinaea actually ends up playing. Let me know, what position do you want Jonah to play on the Dolphins offensive line? Left guard or right guard? Cast your vote. Let me know by typing the position down in the comment section. If you could not tell, I projected it to be right guard. That is also what I prefer. I think there is a lot of value to have him in between two veterans, and I would argue your two best offensive linemen as a whole. I mean, Aaron Brewer is ranked as the 7th best center in all of football, and Austin Jackson, although just being 25, has been here since 2018. So, or is it 2020? God damn it. I can't remember. But either way, I prefer right guard for Savaiinaea. I think it works out really well for him to get the teaching between those two. Either way, I think Jonah's going to be fine. It just is a preference from me, but I am curious to see your preference down below. All right, last note. Bradley Chubb was in the orange jersey. This is the second time. He was in the orange jersey during the first 2 weeks at OTAs, and now he's in the orange jersey again. I mean, Bradley Chubb. Talk about a guy who is coming back after a full year off, ACL, PCL, MCL injury, ready to roll for week 1, assuming he doesn't get hurt again. And he's the first player, I believe, to get orange jersey multiple times this offseason. He's going to be a dominating force. I can't wait to watch him, Chop, and Jalen Phillips play this year. I hope they can stay together for at least 14 games. Just at least have 14 games of all three of them playing, because it's going to be absolutely menacing to opposing quarterbacks. All right, I'll do it for today's show. Hit that sub button for daily Dolphins content. We'll see you tomorrow with more videos. We'll have some trade targets as well as a full recap from the final day of Dolphins minicamp. So make sure you subscribe and are on the lookout for that.